Hi class, Mrs. Calvi here with a quick review on transformations in a coordinate plane. I'm going to do a few short videos. This one is going to solely be on translating figures in a coordinate plane. So basically when we translate, all we're doing is moving the figure based on the directions in the problem. So here it says translate square ABCD 6 units left. Give the coordinates of each vertex in the image. So our original image is the blue image. So figure A, B, C, D is the original image. And the reason I know that is if you look at this red image here, they have these little tick marks next to our points. So whenever we see that little tick mark, we label it as, or we would say it as A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. The reason they do that is so you know which is the original figure versus which is the translated figure. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this original figure and we are going to move it or translate it 6 units to the left. Okay, so 6 units left is what we're going to be doing. So literally, we are going to take every point in the original figure and move it 6 units left. So watch what I do. I'm going to just show you using my drawing tool. So I'm starting with A. So I am going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's where my A prime lands. I'm going to do that with every other point. So let's go for B, 6 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be my B prime. Same thing with my D. Let me just change my color so it maybe is easier to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is now my D prime. And then my C, 6 units left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would be my C prime. I think I said D, but you see what I'm saying. So translating is literally just moving the entire figure in whatever direction the problem says, and for however many units the problem says. Remember, the new figure always has to be labeled with the tick mark or the prime mark. So A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime, that tells the person looking at it which is the original figure versus which is the new translated figure. Okay? And you would have to list the vertices of the new figure. So A prime is located. So if I were to start at my origin, I always go left or right first, then up or down. So my A prime is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and then down -1. So -5, -1, and if you notice, that's exactly what they have here. A prime is listed at -5, -1. My B prime, I have to go left to -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And I'm going down to -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So that means B prime is located at -5, -5, and that's what they have listed here. And then you would do the same thing for C prime and D prime, okay? Now, in a previous video, we talked about, if you notice, this figure is all located in quadrant 3. And quadrant 3, your coordinates should be negative, negative, which means all of these ordered pairs should be negative, negative, which they are. That's kind of a quick double check. So if you had any positive coordinates, you know that's a red flag. You did something wrong. Okay, let's go over one more example. Okay, so here I have a figure labeled A, B, C, D, and E. And if you notice, I have a bunch of other stuff written up here. This is going to be useful when we start rotating figures, but that's going to be a different video. In the meantime, I want to translate this figure that I have here. I want to translate it 3 units up. So this entire figure needs to go 3 units up. So I'm going to go ahead and translate that. So starting with point A, I'm going to go 3 units up. And I know my coordinate plane is kind of small here, so just bear with me. So I am going to go 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Plot a point. That is going to be my A prime. Okay, A prime. All right. Point B, 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Plot a point. And that's going to be my B prime. Point C, 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Plot a point. That's going to be C prime. D, 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Plot a point. That is my D prime. And point E, 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. Let me just double check that that lands on the axis. 1, 2, 3 lands on my x-axis, and that is my E prime. So now, obviously on paper, you would be using a straight edge, and you would actually connect your figure here. Okay, not so bad. All right, and now I would need to actually list all of my ordered pairs or my coordinates. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So my A prime is ordered pair. Remember, we always start at our origin. So -1, -2, -3, -4. So I have to stop at -4. And then I have to go down -1, -2, -3, -4. So -4, -4. Then I would go to my B prime. I would do the same thing. I would start at my origin. I am going to go left to -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9. So -9. And then I would go down to, going down is negative. That would be -8. Okay, and you would continue on with the other points, all right? Now, when you're done, if you notice, out of all 5 points, 4 of them land in quadrant 3. So any of these points that land in quadrant 3, so for example, D prime, C prime, B prime, and A prime should all be -. If you notice, E prime lands on my axis, right? So one of those coordinates is going to be a 0. Is it going to be the X or the Y? So let's see. E prime. I'm starting at 0. I'm going left to get to -9. So D prime is -9, and then I'm staying at 0. 0 is not negative nor positive, right? So in this case, oh, I'm sorry, this was E prime. I put D here. This should be E. Sorry, guys. So E prime is a negative positive because it lands on the axis. All right, it's not actually in quadrant 3. So it's not going to be negative like the others. All right, that is it for now, and I will talk to you guys soon.